Subject Math. Topic Measurement, Volume and Capacity. Now students, so far in the topic of measurement, you have studied about length and weight. In today's lesson, we will look at the concept of volume and capacity. To begin with, can you tell what is happening in the various pictures? You are correct. In this picture, milk is being measured. It's being poured from one container or cup into another one. Here too, milk is being measured and is being poured from a cup into a vessel. Here, oil is being measured. Here too, oil is being measured. But if you notice, the measurement cup is a little different. Here, water is being measured. Here too, water is being measured. So children, what did you notice and what did you understand? All these are liquids, milk, oil, water, okay? And different types of containers are being used to measure them. Okay, let us study this further. Before we move further, these are some vessels full of water. Observe them and tell which ones can hold more water and which ones less. So you have a glass, you have a mug, you have a bucket and a bowl. Did you manage to get the answer? You are right. The bucket will hold the most water, while the bowl will have the least amount of water. Now I want you to look at Nandu and Sonu. They are doing something here. Now Nandu is pouring water into a bucket, but he is using a glass to do this. So it says this bucket became full when 40 glasses of water were poured into it. Now look at Sonu. She has a pitcher in her hand and she is filling the bucket using that pitcher. So it says this bucket became full with 10 pitchers of water. So does this mean, children, that the water that is filled in both the buckets, which are the same, is different? The same amount of water measures different because different means were used to measure it. So Nandu is using a glass and it is smaller in size. That is why he had to pour water many times to fill the bucket. Whereas Sonu was using a pitcher which is larger than the glass that is being used by Nandu. So she could fill the bucket more quickly. So just like children, when you did length and weight, what do you remember here? No matter who fills water in the bucket, it should measure the same. Your measurement cannot change. For that, we must use a standard measure. So children, look here. This is a measure of 1 liter. This one. Okay. We use the standard measure liter while measuring any kind of liquid. Okay. And this is 1,000 milliliter or a 1 liter standard measure. The milkman keeps this. Whenever you go to a milk shop, the shop that sells milk, it's called a dairy. Generally, they will be using this kind of a standard measure to measure the milk that you need. It is used to measure out liquids such as milk and oil. The picture alongside shows a measure used especially for kerosene. So if you go to a shop that sells kerosene, this is the kind of container or measure that is used to measure kerosene. So let us look at the different measures here. This is 1000 milliliters, which is 1 liter. This is 500 milliliters or half a liter. This is 200 milliliters and this is 100 milliliters. It depends on how much liquid you want to buy. Generally, we said that this is used to measure milk or oil. Now, here you have different liquids and they are all in different quantities. And to measure them, we use the standard unit of liter or milliliter. So, if you look at the Coca-Cola bottle here, it's written 1.25 liters. Here, the water bottle, the amount of water that there is in this bottle is 500 ml. Here the shampoo bottle, look at the bottom, 250 ml, 250 milliliters. This is a perfume bottle. It's also a liquid and it is also measured in L or ml. And now here if you look at this car motor oil, the amount of liquid here is written here. It is 5L, 5 liters. Okay. There are 3 different bottles here. And if you look at each of the bottles, there is measurement given here. Units of measurement are written. Okay. And liquids are filled at different levels. Here it is filled up to 1500 milliliters or 1.5 liters. Here the bottle is 1 liter or 1000 milliliters. It's filled up to there, the liquid inside it. Here it is filled also right up to the end, that is up to 250 ml. So you can see how they are divided. Okay, the quantity is divided 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, so on and so forth. Now children, that you have understood the standard measure of measuring liquids. You have understood the concept of liter and milliliter. Okay. Now what do you understand by the words capacity and volume? It's very important to understand them. Okay, in context of measuring liquids. Measuring capacity. What is capacity? It is a measure of how much a container can hold. Measuring spoons or measuring jugs can be used to measure capacity. So how much this container can hold? Okay, what is the capacity? How much can this hold or this drum here? That is understood as capacity. So now that you have understood the concept of capacity, what is volume? Volume is a measure of the amount of space a container takes up. So how much liquid is there in a particular container will be called the volume. Okay, will be called its volume. Now, to understand both of them together, capacity and volume, let's look at the next picture. So you have here capacity versus volume. Now, if you look at this jug here, it says the jug has a capacity of 250 ml. You can see here, you can fill it maximum to 250 ml. The volume of liquid in the jug is 125 ml. So, although you can fill up to 250, that is the capacity, you have filled it up to 125. So, that is the volume. Okay. And here you understand that the volume of liquid needed to fill the jug is 250 ml. So capacity is 250 ml and you can fill it up to 250 ml, and that would become the volume of that particular liquid. So capacity is the amount a container can hold, and volume is the amount of liquid present in that particular container. Now here you have some containers of different shapes, each with the same capacity. So what does this mean? Now here you have a pot, here you have a bucket, here you have a differently shaped pot, here you have a kind of a filter, and here you have a kind of a jar. Okay. Now what they are saying or telling you here is that the shapes are all different, but the capacity is the same. If you pour water into these vessels, the water will take different shapes, but the volume of water will be the same. Okay. The amount of liquid to fill a container is called the capacity of the container. So here the shape looks different, but actually when you pour, say, water into it, the volume of the water will be the same, and the amount of liquid to fill a container is called the capacity. That means how much it can hold is called the capacity of the container. Now this is a fun exercise that you can do. Note how many liters of water you use for the following purposes in your house. So you can observe yourself on a particular day and see, for bathing how much water do you use, for drinking how much water do you need in a particular day, brushing your teeth, making 10 cups of tea. Suppose there is some people are visiting and there are guests at home, and how much water is being used for cooking. So for bathing, approximately 5 liters is used, drinking 2 liters, brushing teeth half a liter, making 10 cups of tea a liter, and cooking 4 to 5 liters.